Good morning, all you fabulous fives out there. Lovely to have you with us again. I'm so pleased you could join us this morning. Maths, yes, I keep going on about the importance of your times tables, and I hope you are still doing your times tables, but I think I'm going to add in something new today, the mental arithmetic challenge. So times tables is one thing, but mental arithmetic is those sort of operations, those very small sums that you do inside your head using plus, minus, times, and divide. Particularly plus and minus. And hopefully by the time you reach high school, these things will be so automatic that you can just slip through them very quickly and they don't slow you down. I am going to give you 10 a day. Let's jump across and have a look at the lesson for today. All right. A reminder, if you have any questions, anything you want to share with me, grade5@worksheetcloud.com. After the lesson, click on the link above and do the worksheet to make sure that you've mastered what it is that we do today. We are going to be doing addition today. I ummed and ahed about doing this because there's so many different ways, and I'm going to look at 3, but only really going to use the one that I found the most efficient. And I know that different schools have ones that they focus on, and so I was in two minds about doing this one, but it's an important part of maths, and so I've decided to include it. The next slide, which I'll go to in a moment, you're going to need a pencil and paper, or pen and paper. There are 10 mental arithmetic problems on it. I'm going to give you just 40 seconds to answer all 10. And then afterwards, we're going to go through and mark it. So if you don't have a pencil and paper, get it quickly. Just want to, before we start, say something that is important, and I've probably said it before, and I'll say it again many times, is that getting things right is more important than getting them done quickly, particularly in maths. So if you are taking a little longer, I would prefer you to complete just 5 of the 10 and get them correct, rather than getting through all 10, but you only get 3 correct. So most important, the first thing to develop is correctness, and then we work on our speed. So I'm going to give you 10. I'm going to give you just 40 seconds. I'm going to time it. Once it's done, we'll go through the answers. Your 40 seconds start now. Ten seconds to go. And stop. Do not worry if you don't finish all of them. Please pencils down. This is a test for yourselves. It doesn't count for anything. No one can see what you get. No one can see whether you've taken longer or shorter. But for the sake of integrity, you should, for your own sake, stop now and we can go through them so that you can compare your scores in future and see how you do relative, so you can track whether you're improving or not. You will probably notice a pattern in the first few, and possibly a pattern in some of the other ones as well. I'm always looking for patterns in maths, and it does help in these sorts of things. So the answer to the first one is 19. If you get it right, just put a tick. If you get it wrong, put the correct answer there. I know you don't have the question written down, but I think it's more useful to write down the right answer than it is to put a cross. So number 1 was 19, number 2 was 21, number 3 was 23, number 4 was 25. If you have a look at those first 4, you'll notice that the second number doesn't change, and in each of them, the first number changes by 2. And what that does to the answers is that each of the answers change by 2. So 19, 21, 23, and 25. As I said, it's a pattern that pops up. It can help you with your workings. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But just be careful of using a pattern and then carrying on the pattern when it doesn't exist. So if you put 27 for number 5, you would have been wrong, although there was a pattern that stopped. So for number 5, it was 12. 6 was 13. 6 was 13, 7 was 15, 8 was 16, 9 was 12, and 10 was 13. If you picked up patterns in there, that's great. If not, don't stress about it. It's about practicing your mental arithmetic. So you'll notice with most of these, I crossed over a tens margin. So if you look at 5, I went 7 plus 5, it crosses over the 10 mark. 6 crosses over the 10 mark. The first few, some of them cross over the 20 mark. That's deliberate. It's often where we make mistakes when we're doing our mental arithmetic. So me testing you. But in the end, it's really just a test for yourselves. So I'm going to go through the answers again, just from 1, 19, 21, 23, 25, 12, 13, 15, 16, 12, and 13. Lesson goals for today. Understand that there are many ways to add numbers, and really what you should do is choose one that works for you. I'm going to focus on one, but perhaps your teacher focuses on another. Whichever one works for you, that's the one that you should choose and use, because in the end, it's about getting the right answer. So I'm going to focus on column addition or vertical addition without carrying, and then also vertical addition with carrying. The carrying thing will make more sense. Perhaps it does already, but perhaps it will make sense later on when we go through it. So looking at just different ways of doing addition, I'm going to go through some of these in a moment. So we've got the first option, which is breaking up the numbers and adding them. Then we've got a number line, and then the one which I'll focus on, which is vertical addition or the column method. Let's jump across to the whiteboard. So looking at breaking up first, I'm going to start with 345 plus 123. So we're going to do breaking up first. So I'm sure that you can see that, sorry, this is 300 plus 40 plus 5. That's the 40, that's the 5. So I've just broken the number up. And on the other side, I've got 100 and a 20 and a 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the pieces that are the same. So I'm going to start off by adding my 200s. So 100 plus 200 is, so 300 plus 100 is 400. Now I'm going to add my 10s. 40 plus 20 is 60. I'm going to add my units. 3 plus 5 is 8. Now I'll put them all together. And my answer is 468. So some of your teachers might teach you to do this. It's perfectly usable. I find it ends up taking too much space, but that's just me. It's really up to you which one you use. But breaking the number up and putting it back together, that's a perfectly legitimate option. I'm going to take the same options now, and I'm going to look at it in a number line. So I hope that you're familiar with number lines. It's just a line that shows numbers as they appear. So getting bigger to the right and getting smaller to the left. I'm going to start off by just putting my big number onto the number line. Next, I'm going to jump my hundreds. So if I go 345 and I jump 100 ahead, it will get me to 445. Then I'm going to jump my tens. So that would get me in one more 10 and two more 10. So that would be 455, 465. So you see I've jumped 2. I've added 10 each time. And finally, I'm going to add another 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to write them. I'm just going to count them. So 466, 467, 468. So 468. And there's my answer. 468. So you can see it is the same number as we got in the previous question. Shift down a little bit so you can see 468, 468. Completely perfect answer, no problem with that at all. It's quite a nice way to visually look at your number getting bigger. And now I'm going to go on to the third method, which we call column addition, or some people call it the column method, or vertical addition. It just means that we're working vertically. Vertically means up and down, top to bottom. Horizontal is that way. So we again have our same question, 345 plus 123. And this time I'm going to set it out just a little bit differently. So I'm going to take the numbers that we got in our question, and I'm going to write them nice and neatly. 345, 123. So a couple of key points here. First up, I must put in my sign. I line these two numbers up on the right. That will make more sense in a little bit. When I get some numbers where I've got a 3-digit and a 2-digit maybe, and I have to make sure that they line up. So they must line up on the right-hand side. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add them vertically. So I'm going to go, what is 5 plus 3? It's 8. What is, let me do a different color. What is 4 plus 2? That's 6. What is 3 plus 1? That's 4. And there's my answer, 468. I quite like to think of these two things as a big equal sign. And there's my answer in the middle. Yeah, so that's the column method, vertical addition. It's the one that I find works most space efficiently, especially when you get to bigger numbers and breaking up and putting it together takes more space. So I've got a few for us to work through. I'm going to work through them in the column addition. Let's work on the column addition, and even if your teacher at school does a different method, this then gives you a new method that you can use as well. And it's never a problem to have more than one way of doing things. So the first three are going to be quite straightforward, like the ones we've got, and then the next ones are going to have carrying, which I'm sure that you've already done. So let's quickly do the first three. I'm going to write them out, and also note that I always set them out this way before I put them into columns, and I do that intentionally because we need to be able to work from this format into the other format. And also when we get word problems, the word problems don't come to us nicely laid out. So will you do 1, 2, and 3? You can start with number 1 so long. All right, I'm not going to start yet, but I'm going to lay it out in the meantime. Oh, I haven't really given myself enough space. Let me write quite small. Okay, let's go through these ones quickly. I'm sure for most of you this will be revision, but we've got 3 plus 6 is 9. Now you can see where mental arithmetic becomes really important, is that I have to do that in my head. And if I got that wrong, my answer would be wrong even if I did know how to do this method of addition. I'd still get the wrong answer because I was let down by my poor mental arithmetic skills. And that's why it is something that I keep going on and on and on about. It's so important to focus on your mental arithmetic. 8 plus 1 is also 9. 6 plus 2 is 8. And my answer is 899. Looking at the next one, 5 plus 2 is 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. 3 plus 6 is 9. Answer is 799. If you'd like to do the next one on your own, just quickly pause the video. I'm going to lay it out. I'm also going to talk while I lay it out. So I've got 1, 4, 3, 2. This is where I spoke about lining it up on the right if we've got different number of digits in each. So some children will make the mistake of doing 4, 6, 7. That's not the way we do it. We start by lining it up on the right hand side. So we go 7, 6, 4. It's also really important to be neat when you lay things out and make sure that they are underneath each other. That is actually why we have the blocks in many of our maths books. We call them quad books. And the reason for that is to make sure that we line everything up and don't make silly errors. Silly errors, or what I like to call unnecessary mistakes. 2 plus 7 is 9. 3 plus 6 is also 9. 4 plus 4 is 8. And the last one, it's 1. And then there's nothing underneath it. So it's 1. 1 plus nothing. I'm sure it wasn't that long ago. I'm trying to remember if it was with you or with the 4s. That I explained to you that we actually can put zeros in front because this number has no thousands. So the 0 represents no thousands. It's just unnecessary to put it there. And so we rather leave it off. Oopsie. Okay, so that's the very simplest form. You should have covered that in grade 4. So we really should be done with that and not onto anything new, and still possibly not onto anything new, but with addition where we need to carry. So I'm going to do one worked example with you, and then I'm expecting you to be able to carry on with these on your own. So 876 plus 315. I'm going to lay it out correctly. So 876 Okay, so this time 5 plus 6 is 11. Where do I write the other one? So when I say carrying, in all of these ones, we never got a number in the answer. Sorry, I'm moving on my iPad, not on here. In all of these answers, we never had a mental arithmetic problem that gave us a number bigger than 10. So 9 was the biggest we got there. Now we've got an 11. And I'm sure many of you already know this. We need to take this to the tens. Because what we were working with here was the units, where we did 6 units plus 5 units, and we got 11. So if 11, then it goes to the tens. So I like to put it up top there, and then we add it in with the others. So I'm going to say 1 plus 7 plus 1 is 9. Again, mental arithmetic, so important. Then in my next one, 8 plus 3 is 11. The 11 goes there. Oh, sorry, the 1 goes there. And then I carry the next one to the thousands column. And there's nothing else there. So it's 1 plus nothing and nothing, which is still 1. And so my answer is 1,191. Okay, here's 3 for you to do. I am going to write them out just neatly underneath each other, and you will try them. I'm then going to put the answers to the side. So while you're busy with those, I'll lay them out on the side. If you'd like a bit more time for number 5, just pause the video. 7 plus 4 is 11. Put the 1 there and carry the 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. Plus 4 is 9, 10, 11, 12. So the 2 goes there and I carry the 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. 8, 9. Answer 921. This is quite a useful method. It never gets any bigger than that, except when we add 3 digits, which I'll show you shortly. If you'd like more time for number 6, which I really hope you do, you need to, unless you're really quick, but just practice it yourself. I know that for many of you, addition is something we've done many times, and it's probably of the 4 operations the easiest, but it is important to just practice it now and again, just to remind ourselves when this comes up in a test, which it will all the way through primary school. It's good to get these marks in the bag right at the start. 7 plus 9 is 16. Again, mental arithmetic. Put that in there. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 8 is 16. Carry 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 6 is 10. So you put a 0 here and we carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Answer 2066. Let's have a look at number 7. 2 plus 8 is 10. Carry 1. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 8 is 15. Carry the 1. 1 plus 7 is 8, plus 7 is 15, carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 1 is 11, carry the 1, and it drops down. Here we go. Oh, my video is in the way. All right, there we can see. I hope you got those ones right. If not, it's about practice, and I suspect that most likely the error you made was in your mental arithmetic, not in your understanding of what to do. Right, one more. You can't do this particular thing with the other operations, but it works quite nicely with plus. Let's say I had 2,386 plus 391 plus 25. What's quite nice about addition is that we can actually put all of those underneath each other and still get to the right answer. So I'm going to start off by laying it out. Remembering that we line things up on the right-hand side. Six plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. Plus 9 is 18. 19, 20. Carry 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. Plus another 3 is 8. Nothing to add to the 2. Answer 2,803. Addition is definitely the easiest of the operations for me. We're going to look at the other operations in the coming lessons. I'm well aware that for many of you there might not have been anything new in this lesson, but revision is always important. It helps us to keep things fresh in our mind, and sometimes when you don't do something for a long time, it's a bit rusty. You can still do it, but it needs a reminder, and so it's always good to just have a reminder. In the many years I've taught, operations, plus, minus, times, and divide, get revised every single term. And so if you can still get it right every single term, that's fantastic. That is the end of the lesson for today, grade 5s. I hope that you are comfortable and refreshed and know how to do it. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Reminder, if you have any questions, anything you'd like to cover in one of these lessons, email me, grade5@WorksheetCloud.com. After the lesson, click on the link above so that you can just practice a few problems with addition, make sure you're getting things right, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day, grade 5s.